Hey everybody, Ryan from Academe here. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about syllables. We'll be talking about a few things that we learned in our Intro to Vowels and Consonants video. So if you haven't seen that yet, I'll put a link to it below. Knowing a little bit about syllables is very useful because it can help you understand the rhythm or prosody of a language. English syllables may be different from the syllable types in your original language, and this can affect the way that you pronounce English words. Let's get started with an example to show you the difference between Japanese and English syllable types. Let's look at the same word in both Japanese and English, neko and cat. Here we have neko. It will be easier if we romanize this word as neko. Remember that vowels are more open sounds. For vowels, our mouths are typically more open. We can use a V to represent each vowel sound in this word, like this. And consonants are more closed sounds. We can use a C to represent each consonant sound, like this. When we use these V's and C's, we are basically referring to the opening and closing of your mouth. These represent the basic movements of your mouth when you say a word. If you say the word neko, you can feel that your mouth is closed for the n, open for the e, closed for the k, and then open for the o. So this word is closed, open, closed, open. Also, generally speaking, the more your mouth or vocal tract is open and vibrating, the louder a sound is. In linguistics, this is called sonority. You can kind of think about these louder sounds as peaks and the softer sounds as valleys. Each peak is one beat, one syllable. So vowels are usually the loudest sounds, not always, but usually. And consonant sounds typically group around vowels to make a syllable. Very simply put, we can usually count the number of syllables in a word by counting the number of vowels. Again, not always, but usually. The word neko has 2 vowels and 2 syllables, 2 beats. The first syllable, ne, has a C and a V. The second syllable, ko, has the same. This CV type is the main type of syllable in Japanese. When a syllable ends with a V, we call that an open syllable because vowels are more open sounds. And when a syllable ends in a C, we call that a closed syllable. Except for the nasal sound n, Japanese syllables are always open. Japanese syllables do not end in consonants. So, Japanese essentially has 4 syllable types.
E, ten, ki, ten.
But, by far, the CV type is the most common in Japanese and around the world in other languages too. English, on the other hand, simply has more possible syllable types than Japanese. For example,
I, in, sit, skit, skits, sprint, sprints.
Now, let's look at the English word cat. Cat is 1 syllable, 1 beat. C, V, C. And this type of syllable doesn't exist in Japanese. It is a closed syllable, CVC, ending with a t sound. English syllables like this are difficult for Japanese speakers. So Japanese people tend to add a vowel sound or omit a consonant sound in order to make English words conform to Japanese syllable types. So, cat usually gets a vowel added at the end and becomes
cat,
which makes this word 2 syllables, because opening your mouth and adding a vowel sound will add an extra syllable to the word, an extra beat. Let's look at a few other words. In English, we have hot dog. This word has 2 syllables, 2 beats. But this CVCCVC pattern won't work in Japanese. To make it conform to Japanese, we need to add 2 vowels, one in the middle of the word and one at the end of the word, like this.
ホットドッグ、
After doing this, the word now has 4 syllables. A native English speaker is expecting to hear 2 syllables for this word. So if you say it with 4 syllables, it will be less likely that the native speaker will catch this word. In this case, I would recommend practicing to keep the t and g sounds at the end of each syllable closed, like this. Hot dog. Please watch our Stop Consonants video if you want to learn more about closing sounds. Okay, for our last English word, let's look at the word street. C-C-C-V-C. This word is also 1 syllable. Let's add some vowels so that this word fits the common Japanese CV syllable type. Now we have CV, 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 CV.
ストリート、
And this word, which was originally 1 syllable in English, is now 4 syllables. One very important thing is that if you add a lot of extra syllables to words when you're speaking, then the person listening to you will have difficulty catching the words. Adding an extra syllable usually won't confuse a native speaker, but if you are adding 2 or 3 extra syllables, then people will likely have a difficult time catching your English. Developing a better awareness about how many syllables you are using when you speak will help your pronunciation. Likewise, if you have a better awareness for syllables, you will be able to better catch what native speakers are saying, and you can improve your listening ability as well. If you want to practice and develop this skill more, please check out some of our dictation videos. They're great practice for English listening and speaking. Okay, that's all for this video. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed it. As always, I'll put links to the English and Japanese transcript below. Thanks for watching.